Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's Julianne here, and today I'm going to be showing you how I created this super cute cooped up card that I created in order to celebrate my grandpa's 90th birthday, which was yesterday. I thought making this card for him would be super cute, seeing how we all are stuck inside lately, and I wanted to bring a little humor to that. I'm going to be using quite a few stamps and dies to make this card today, including the birds and bees stamp and coordinating die set, the spring chicks, Penny the Platypus, the Excellent Sentiment stamp set, and the Cottage Windows Honey Cuts. All of the stamps and dies I am going to be using today are all from Honeybee Stamps. So let's get started. Off camera, I stamped each of the images I'm going to be using in my card today onto some Express It blending cardstock using some Memento Tuxedo black ink. That way I could do some Copic coloring. I did color quite a few of my images off camera as well in order to test out my color combinations. I knew that I wanted bright yellow shutters for my window, so I wanted to pick colors that would complement them. I have sped up the coloring process quite a lot to save some time in this video. If the coloring doesn't interest you, please feel free to jump ahead. But if it does, I will make sure to have all my marker caps off to the side of the screen so you can follow along, and I'll be right back. Next, I'm going to be using the coordinating die sets from my stamps, the Spring Chicks, Penny the Platypus, and the Birds and the Bees, to die cut out each of my images. Of course, if you don't have the coordinating die sets, you could definitely maybe use a scan and cut machine, or you could fussy cut them all out. Either way will work just fine. And I'm just going to be temporarily adhering down each of my dies using some washi tape. That way they don't move as I run them through my die cutting machine. Off camera, while I was doing my die cutting, I did decide to die cut out all of the elements for the Window Cottage die set, and I did that in various colors of colored cardstock. Next, I'm going to start working on creating my background, which for my card today is actually going to be my house. I really love yellow and gray together, but I just couldn't find the right shade of gray in my colored cardstock, so I ended up going with some white cardstock. And here in a minute, I'm going to add some gray shading to that in order to get the color combination that I was going for. Here I'm just using a T ruler to draw out some lines that will make it look as though my house is made of shiplap, and I really like how this turns out. I'm not trying to make my lines perfect by any means, since once I add that window die on top of it, you won't really be able to see much of my background anyways. And I forgot to mention that since this window die is so large, I'm actually creating a 5x7 card, which is definitely something new for me. I don't think I have ever created a 5x7 card. There is just so much more room to fill in, but luckily the die will cover up most of it. So here I'm just going to be adding in that gray shading that I just mentioned, using some of my cool gray markers. And I'm going to be going over each of the lines that I just created, as well as doing a flicking motion with those same markers on the outside edges of my card. It really doesn't look like much on camera, but it really adds some really nice detail to my background to give me the look that I was going for. Once I'm happy with my background, I'm going to start working on adhering all of my images as well as my die cut pieces in order to start assembling my card. My thought process in creating this card today was to make it look as though my granny and my grandpa, the cute little chickens, were looking outside of their window with a few balloons behind them, celebrating my grandpa's birthday, all cooped up in the house by themselves. Like we all are lately, we're all cooped up. So I really wanted to make it look as though we were looking through the trees and into their home. So I'm going to be using the branches from the Birds and Bees stamp set that I colored in earlier to achieve that look that I was going for by adding them in front of my window. So you can kind of see here how I'm playing around with everything to decide where I'm going to want it in the final card. But I'm going to be starting off by adhering everything that's inside of the window area first. So I've already adhered my curtains to the back side of my window frame, and I'm going to be carefully removing that window die so that my images stay in place. And then I'm going to be temporarily adhering them together using some more of that washi tape, so that way they stay in the position that I had them in. And then I'm going to be adhering them down to some light blue cardstock using some liquid adhesive. The liquid adhesive that I'm going to be using today is the new Be Creative Precision Tip Glue Tube from Honeybee Stamps that just came out in their Hello Summer release. I really like how this glue is working out. I have a lot of problems with my glues with them getting dried out and not being able to come out of the tube, but I honestly haven't had those problems with this glue tube yet. They also came out with a glue holder that you can see here that holds their glue tube up perfectly while you're not using it. But back to the card. Once I have all of those adhered, I'm then going to start working on adhering everything else for my card today. Once I have everything inside my window area adhered together, I'm going to be adhering my window, centering it onto my background using that same liquid adhesive. Once I have that adhered, I'm then going to start working on adhering my bright yellow window shutters to my card as well. But instead of using liquid adhesive for them, I'm going to be popping both of them up using some foam adhesive to give my card that little bit of added dimension. Once I have both of those adhered, I'm then going to start adhering all of my tree branches from earlier, and I'm going to be adhering them using either foam adhesive or liquid adhesive, depending on which part of the shutters they land on. Since my shutters are already popped up with adhesive, I do not want to add a second layer of foam adhesive. I really didn't think that 2 branches were enough for my card today, so I performed a little bit of branch surgery to add in some more branches as well as some leaves to both sides of my card to really fill in that area. And now I'm going to be adhering some of the apples that I colored in earlier, and I'm going to be adhering those in front of my shutters using some more of that foam adhesive, making sure to position them to look as though they are hanging from the tree. I did decide not to use the bee's nest that I colored in earlier in my card today, since I thought that it was just too much yellow, but I still wanted to use those cute little bees, So I'm just going to be adhering those throughout my background using some liquid adhesive. And you can see here how everything is really starting to come together. I didn't realize that I wasn't recording when I stamped out my sentiments, and I'm really sorry about that. But I used 2 sentiments from the Excellent Sentiment stamp set, and I stamped them using some more of that Memento Tuxedo black ink onto the inside of my card. I just love the sentiments that are in this set. I thought they were just perfect for my card today. And since I did have a few leftover images that I colored in earlier, I'm going to be adhering a balloon as well as one of the birds to the inside of my card as well. And then I'm going to be adhering my background to my card base using some more of that foam adhesive. And once I have that all adhered, I'm then going to be adhering my last sentiment that I stamped in white heat embossed onto some black cardstock. And I'm going to be adhering that directly to my background. Once I have everything adhered, I'm then going to be finishing off my card today by adhering in a few clear sequins that I've scattered throughout my background, and that's going to complete my card. I honestly love how this card turned out, and I can't wait to give it to my grandpa today when I go over for a quick social distance hello to wish him happy birthday. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for even more card making ideas. If you are interested in any of the supplies I used today, they will all be listed and linked down below in the description. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting!